Jareth needed answers. His heart was restless, and his spirit felt torn. So he decided to sought the seer. He traveled through marshes and ruins swallowed by vines. Days turned into weeks. His hope withered. His strength thinned, but he was so determined to find the seer. People called him mad. The king believed he had betrayed the crown. But still, Jareth kept going. At last, he reached a fog-covered village untouched by time. Inside a broken chamber, where silence felt ancient, the last descendant of the seers waited. The old woman lifted her eyes and whispered, "I have been waiting for you." Jareth fell to his knees. With trembling breath he said, "Tell me, is the prophecy true? Will a child of light and darkness destroy us?" The seer smiled with a gentleness that eased the air. She pressed a warm hand to his chest and said, "No, the prophecy was misinterpreted. Destruction is not its purpose. I see a child sitting on the throne, a child born of both worlds." "Lara?" Jareth whispered. "A healer," the seer answered softly. "The kingdom's rebirth. The good fortune begins with her." Jareth's voice cracked. "What is the good fortune?" "The king must hear it," the seer replied. So the journey back began. Jareth returned to the kingdom with the seer at his side. The king and queen awaited them in a trembling hush. The seer bowed and said, "The union of light and darkness has begun." The king stiffened. "Then doom is upon us all." "No," the seer whispered. "You are blessed." She lifted her staff towards the royal garden. A flower has bloomed, the one thought to be extinct since ancient times. The king's breath caught. The Garanja blossom. It blooms only when the kingdom's future is secure. They all hurried together towards the royal gardens. And there, beneath soft morning light, a single purple and gold flower opened its petals. Alive, radiant. Impossible. The king was consumed by deep remorse, his heart heavy with regret. "What have I done?" He breathed, almost to himself. "My son and the girl," he whispered, with pain lacing every word. King Thorian summoned the court, and all gathered before him in solemn silence. With a voice heavy with regret yet crowned with authority, he decreed that Prince Aleron and Lara were to return home at once. Jareth rode like fire through forest and stone. He was driven by urgency and hope of bearing good news, and the king's command for Prince Aleron and Lara to return back to Verathia. At last, beneath the silver moon, he found Lara and Prince Aleron seated together in quiet stillness. "It is over," Jareth said. As he approached Prince Aleron and Lara, "The king now seeks peace." Lara's voice trembled. "Why?" she asked. Jareth swallowed hard, knowing he carries her mother's final words like a wound. "Because the prophecy was misinterpreted," Jareth replied. Aleron gently took Lara's hands, his eyes locking with hers, full of unspoken promises. "We return together," Aleron murmured, his voice tender and sure. Their return shook the kingdom. The Elyndar stepped into the sun again. Magic awakened. People filled the streets in awe and relief. The king kneeled before Lara, humbled. "I wronged your people," he said softly. "Forgive me and help me rebuild Verathia." Lara stepped forward, her voice calm and steady. "I will help heal this kingdom, if only you allow my people to come home." "All of Verathia is your home," he replied. For the first time in centuries, peace bloomed. The Elyndar returned. The Elyndar healed. The Garanja flower became a symbol of rebirth. A great feast was held in the kingdom of Verathia. King Thorian ordered the halls adorned with light and music to celebrate the safe return of the prince and Lara. Laughter filled the palace for the first time in centuries. Music echoed through the royal marble halls once heavy with fear. Candles burned late into the night as the people rejoiced. For the first time in centuries, peace truly bloomed. As Aleron and Lara entered the royal grand hall together, the room fell into a gentle hush. Faces turned toward them. Smiles spread. Nobles and common folk alike bowed their heads in welcome and gratitude. It was a celebration not only of their return, but of the good fortune born from the union of Aleron and Lara. The Elyndar returned to their homeland, and they began to heal the sick Verathia people. The Garanja flower glowed and bloomed graciously in the royal gardens. The flower became a living symbol of rebirth and hope. In the far corner of the palace hall, Jareth stood in silence. He watched Lara with quiet pride as she walked through the courtyard, smiling freely, her hands gently held by Prince Aleron. They moved together with ease and laughter, as though the weight of the past had finally lifted from their souls. Lara would never know that Jareth was her father. She would never know that her mother had died whispering her name. But Jareth, her father, knew. And that was enough. He would protect her, and he would guard Aleron. Not for glory, nor for reward, but for love. Until his final breath. At the break of dawn, the kingdom stirred beneath a gentle morning sky. Aleron and Lara stood side by a tall palace window, bathed in the soft glow of a new day. As they gazed out into each other's eyes, they spoke in hushed voices, smiling as they remembered how far they had come. They laughed gently. Then they leaned into one another. And in that quiet moment, they shared a tender kiss filled with gratitude, love, and hope. Beyond the window, the kingdom rested. The future was no longer feared. It was waiting. And so they lived, not in prophecy or shadow, but in peace, bound by love, healed by forgiveness, and guided by the light they had found together. They lived happily ever after. Thank you for staying until the very end, and listening with all your heart. This brings the story The Last Elyndar, Prophecy of Light and Darkness, Part 2 to an end. A story of love, hope restored, and peace finally claimed. I would love to know where you are watching from. Leave a comment below and let your voice be part of this journey. If this story made you smile, stirred your heart, or carried you into another world, please subscribe, like, and share this story with someone who loves romance and magic. For more enchanting tales of love, destiny, and happily ever afters, stay right here with Romantic Tales by Sally. Until our next story, may love surround you, may peace dwell within you, and may every ending you reach be filled with light.
The Last Elyndar, Prophecy of Light and Darkness.